Hello everyone, how are we all doing? In this video, I am talking about when a new theme latches. When a new theme latches, it can feel like all hell has broken loose. It can feel like you are going to be trapped in that new theme forever and that you can't see any other way. I had many moments like this. When OCD was morphing, it was switching, it was changing, it was hopping around between different themes, jumping to the next one. That's what it does. Whether that was variations of a real event false memory OCD, or whether it was a completely different theme altogether. So it would go from POCD to existential OCD. So I suddenly have an existential realization and then feel like my head was on a different planet. And then it would move to sensory motor OCD when I was trapped in the internal sensations, felt like I was being tortured by my own nervous system. That was really hard. And then it would move around to different, like I say, false memories, real events, and then fear of panicking. What if I'm stuck in this endless panic loop? Then it will go after sort of the meaning of life and, oh God, what if there's no meaning to anything? What's the point? Nothing matters. And then feeling totally zapped of all motivation, zapped of all enthusiasm to live or to achieve anything or whatever. And OCD will do that. It will jump around, right? You're going to be watching this video and thinking, yeah, but what if mine doesn't jump around? Look, put it this way, right? There are no rules to OCD, right? There are no set terms and conditions to how OCD operates. It does whatever it does, right? It can hop around, it can lock onto one, it can move, it will do whatever it's going to do. But here is the advice as to when it does morph and it switches and finds something else. So, when that does happen, no immediate reaction is required. You don't need to make a sudden change. That's the number one rule. Don't make a sudden change. Don't completely chuck your structure in the bin and go, shit, I better do this, I better do that, I better do this, right? You don't have to batten down the hatches. You've got to allow it to do whatever it's going to do. Many times I had to just surrender, carry on with whatever I was doing in that day, not making a change, letting OCD do its worst, allowing myself to spiral, allowing the new theme to latch. Stop trying to manually intervene. Stop trying to manually control and push it away. Because as soon as you do that, then you're going to be in trouble because you are showing your brain, you're showing OCD that you are absolutely terrified of it because you're trying to push it away compulsively, and that is when it's going to stick, that is when it's going to lock on, that's when it's going to be very stubborn and not budge. It's looking for different themes. That's what it does. That's the nature of the disorder that you have. That's how it operates. It's looking for that next thing it can hook you on. And when it does hook you on it, it's going to feel like, wait, how did I not notice this one before? Why was I not scared of this one before? And it's then going to feel like you're trapped and boxed into a corner thinking, shit, I got over that theme. I felt like I moved on from that theme. But what about this one? This one feels different. This one feels like the exception. This one feels real. That's how it is going to feel. Okay, every time when that new theme latches, you're going to be wishing for your old theme back. You'll be saying, yeah, but Sam, I can see that one. That one was OCD, not this one. This one's different because OCD will hit you with the conviction, the realness, and it will convince you that this one is different to all the others because it heightens the realness to it. Never underestimate the realness factor to OCD, especially when it morphs and changes. Now, what you've got to view it as is, it's like a different level, like as if you're onto the next level, right? So for example, when you first come in for sessions and you're stuck on one theme, you're stuck on one fear, just as an example, right? Now, as you start making progress, you start changing your perspectives, you start really reducing your compulsions, you're really seeing strides. Then OCD switches, it jumps, it finds something. Maybe it hits you with an existential fear. Maybe it latches to sensory motor. Maybe it's ROCD. Maybe it's emotional contamination, magical thinking, whatever, right? It can switch and then it's then going to feel, oh, I'm never going to get over this one. View that as, right, here we go then. This is just another level in the game. It's another level to overcome. Try and view it like that rather than see it as, oh no, I'm going to be bogged down and stuck forever. Oh no, not this one. Not this one, please. No, 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 not this one. Because that's when it's going to latch. That's when it's going to stick. And that's when it's going to lock on. So, back to the advice. No sudden changes. Keep up the structure that you've been working on with your coach. Critical. Don't change structure. That's going to be hard because it's going to feel like your life has flashed before your eyes when that new theme latches, because it's going to feel like life's never going to be the same again. That's how really it's going to feel. So make sure you're keeping up that good, healthy, solid life structure. You need to watch out for your compulsions. Please watch out for those compulsions, those subtle ones, those hidden ones, those control ones, those certainty-seeking ones, those avoidance, those comfort trap ones. Be careful of them, because when you're triggered and when that new theme latches, you're going to want to do compulsions because you're going to be scared of being triggered even more, and you're going to be desperate for relief. You're going to just want rid. You're going to want an escape. You're going to want rid of your symptoms. You'll do anything to get rid of them. And that's why you've got to be careful of doing those compulsions, because as soon as you start engaging in the solving, the working it out, the avoidance, the putting life off, the putting whatever it is off because you've been triggered, the reassurance, the confessing, the Googling, the chat GPTing, whatever it is you're doing when that new theme latches, be careful, because all that's doing is fueling that cycle, and that's going to enable that new theme to stick, lock in, and it won't budge. It will latch hard. So be very, 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 very wary of that. Okay, that's crucial. Where all the discomfort, all the symptoms, where. Zip up the uncomfortable coat. Very critical. Try and bring it all along for the ride whilst keeping up your structure. Allow yourself to feel anything. Allowing it to do its worst, let yourself spiral. Now, what I'm about to say now isn't that there's no set correct way of doing this, and I'll explain why. And I'm going to talk about when do you actually dispute the beliefs associated to the fears that relates to the new theme, the morphed theme. Now, I always tell people to discuss this with their coach, because some people can be very compulsive, where they'll jump to the disputing pen and paper immediately as soon as that new theme latches. That ain't a good idea, because that's very urgent, that's very impulsive, that's very knee-jerk, which is obviously very compulsive by nature. If you're doing things straight away because you're doing it to get rid of a feeling, you're doing it to rid yourself of how you don't want to feel, to alleviate discomfort, that becomes a problem, because that's all very quick and impulsive and rushed, which is not what I want you doing. And then some people won't dispute it at all. And that's not wise either. That's not very smart, because there will come a point where you do have to break it down. Because the reason it's morphed is because OCD has detected a fear. Remember, without fear, OCD isn't going to latch. There is no OCD cycle if there is no fear. So obviously you're scared of something if it's caused that heart-dropping panic reaction when it latches, right? Because it's obviously found something that you deem as crossing the line, that you deem as, oh my God, there's no coming back from this one, that you deem as, oh my God, I'm going to be trapped forever, my life's over, my life's compromised, this one's going to haunt me forever. You know, that's how it's going to feel. So it's obviously showing you there is a fear present. There is something that you do need to break down. So discuss this with your coach, but you will have to think, well, what is it that I'm actually scared of here? What are the beliefs involved? And you break them down vigorously on paper. As and when you do that, discuss with a coach. I would say, just as a generic advice, I would say you want to be given it a couple of days. Let the symptoms calm down. Let the new theme sort of settle in. Let it settle into the house. Don't just shut the door on it straight away. Let it come in. Let it get cozy. Let it get familiar to its surroundings. And then you think, right, let's address you then, new theme. Let's address you. Let's see what your problem is. And then you break it down. Okay, but it's up to your coach, because your coach is going to know what you're like with breaking down new themes and whether that's helpful or not, as in how quickly you do that. Okay, but you will have to break it down. You'll have to see, well, what is it that I'm scared of? Challenging the beliefs, new perspectives, new insights, taking a different approach, just seeing how OCD's got a grip. And quite often, what you'll find is there's a very common pattern behind your OCD suffering. There's a very common trend behind it, and that's usually, not always, hence why your coach is best to advise in a one-to-one session, but usually it's going to link to the life being compromised forever, right? Oh, if this happens or this is true, then my life is blocked and I can't move forward. And whether that's a POCD theme, harm OCD, existential, sensory motor, contamination, ROCD, whatever the theme is, whatever the merry-go-round of themes is, whatever theme you're stuck on, there will be similar fears at play. There will be. And yes, there can be one that can just ping out of nowhere, like a health OCD fear, can ping out of nowhere, the fear of death. But then you'll find that's probably linked into maybe existentialism, maybe that's linked into sort of missing out and life being over before you've achieved X, Y, and Z. You know, it will link in. It's very crafty. OCD's a genius in many ways and how it can operate and find sneaky ways in through the back door. Because you've always got to remember that it's seeing your core fears like a menu, and it's scouring this menu and it's thinking, ooh, this person here is still terribly frightful of their life being compromised forever due to X, Y, and Z because they don't have very good unconditional life acceptance. They're not very good at adapting. So boom, have this one. Existential. What as if you're the only person on the planet and nobody else is real? Oh my God, if that's real, then what on earth do I do? If that's true, then my life's over. Or what as if you're trapped in your blinking sensation or your breathing sensation forever? Oh my God, I could not ever be at peace with that. My life would be over. So it sees your core fears, then it has a field day chucking in these new themes. And then what it's very good at doing is then it moves to the new theme and it can suddenly jump back to the old theme, and then you want the new theme back, and then you feel like you're back to square one. That's how it traps you into that square one, because you think, hang on a minute, I've just been breaking down this new one and it's gone back to the one I was stuck with 18 months ago. What the hell? How's it done that? It will do that. OCD is going to run rings around you. It's very clever. It's a genius in many ways. It's very smart and it's sneaky. It's sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. It's very crafty. Okay, so important to remember that when it comes down to approaching new themes. Your OCD will morph. It will morph. That's what it does. Okay? You'll feel like the exception still. You'll feel like, hang on a minute, Sam, why is mine morphed to this one? Nobody else has talked about this. Forget it. Don't worry about that. OCD has no rules. It acts on its own terms. It does whatever the fuck it wants, for lack of a better term. That's what it does. Okay? So let it run riot. Let it cause a bit of carnage. Let it cause a bit of chaos. That's what it does. Let chaos ensue. That's what happens. Okay? That's all part of the journey you're on. See each new theme as a springboard to the next level as you conquer it and overcome it and keep moving forward. Remember on my journey when it used to switch and jump and change, when I felt like I'd overcome that was a very accomplishing feeling. I felt, wow, I felt like I've moved past that. I didn't feel arrogant. I didn't feel invincible. I didn't feel like, oh yeah, I'm out of the woods. No, because I knew I could be humbled and slapped in the face by OCD at any time. But it's a feeling, or it's certainly an accomplishment you want to be working towards, getting over these new themes, having perspective shifts and so on. See it as the next level of the game and the journey that you've embarked on. Important stuff, because OCD will morph. You're not it's not like you're the only case where OCD is not going to morph. It's going to morph. It's going to switch. It's going to change. Whether that's just the fear of fear, maybe you have a panic attack and then it locks onto the fear of panicking forever. Oh no, I had a huge panic attack. What's when panicking 24/7? Blah de blah de blah de blah de blah. That's what it does. Okay, understanding that it will morph and how to approach with it is key to your journey, and let it take time. Allow it to do its worst and welcome it in with open arms. Harder, easier said than done. I'm totally aware, trust me, but that's the approach we want to be taking. Any form of control, any form of resistance, any form of suppressing, any form of neutralizing and trying to get rid of it, you're going to find yourself in a spot of bother, because OCD is only going to come back with a vengeance each time. Guys, hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please leave a like. If you're interested in one-to-one sessions, please email phil@ocdrecovery.com and we can help guide you through the OCD journey, especially when it morphs and chops and changes. Guys, you take care. My name is Sam. The other coaches we have here is Nick, Momin, Gemma, Elliot and Rob, all doing coaching calls, and we can help you as quickly as we can. But get in touch with Phil and we will book you in. Guys, you take care and look after yourself and allow OCD to run riot with its morphing.